Hello, my War Thunder enthusiasts, Doddy Bunny here, and welcome back. First of all, I would like to thank you for all the support you've given me on the channel, especially on the channel and in game. I really do appreciate all the comments and the likes especially on these last few videos. And I even saw a few subscribers recommending me in game to check me out, so I really thank you for that. This time I'll be bringing you two games in the BF109 K4. The first game was more of a test of what can I actually do in this plane, especially against British Spitfires, turn fighters, and so on. And the second game is more of a full potential of a half-spaded plane in against Russians. And my first impression was actually that I was quite surprised at the maneuverability of this plane, especially at this tier, and the level of control it has over the ailerons and barrel rolls. So this is what I wanted to test the most, to see how much can I actually outmaneuver enemies at low speed, high speed, and it doesn't matter. In the beginning you will always get outclimbed, especially of course when you're stuck. When you get upgraded, not as much, but compared to the D9, the D9 will always be a slightly better climber. And that is what I like about Germany the most, is that it has those two specific trees, the Focke-Wulf tree and the BF tree. And the Focke-Wulf tree is more of a clean boom and zoom plane and a really high roll rate, which really doesn't allow you much control in barrel rolls, whereas the 109 is completely the opposite of that, where you have a really rigid and heavy plane which has a lot of control in barrel rolls and like horizontal and vertical maneuvers. I'm not sure which one is better. I would say that horizontals are way better on this plane than the verticals, simply because it's a heavy plane. What else? I don't recommend using gun pods until you get fully upgraded, simply because the 30s are half reliable, but they could be better. And also you need all the performance and maneuverability you can get in a stock plane. The biggest downsides to this plane would be the guns. I mean, the amount of guns you get on default, and also very bad control in head-ons. What that means is that when you try to do a head-on, the plane is not responsive enough, so you will sometimes end up getting damaged or even shut down, simply because you cannot roll out of the way of the bullets fast enough, even from 0.9 or 1 kilometer away. And regarding the advantages, as I said, barrel rolls and low speed maneuverability, which is good against Spitfires and some similar planes. Okay, so regarding the tactics, and the most common and reasonable tactic is of course for you to climb really high. Around 6k should be good altitude for your maximum performance, and try to stay there. Like especially if you're low on teammates, as in this match you'll see. And if you do need to dive, try to pull at least 1 or 2 people down with you, because the Spitfires tend to be really cocky at low altitude, and they sometimes forget that actually other planes can turn as well. But thanks to the recent barrel rating changes, you will not be facing meteors nor any too dangerous jets. You'll be mostly facing the PAD and F-84, I think. I forgot what's the barrel rating of that thing. And I have caught myself playing this plane as a jet a few times, as one of my subscribers has seen me in action, because I'm so used to the planes being a lot faster than me or being at high speed that I can just turn around in front of them and end up on their tail, which of course doesn't work like that in props. That I got myself killed a few times simply like that. This plane doesn't suffer from compression anymore, so you don't have to worry about diving at high speed and getting yourself killed by hitting the ground. Okay, let's focus on the gameplay now. As you can see, I have a Spitfire at my altitude at 6,000 meters. Half of my team is already dead, and that's the pinnacle of Germans at high tier. Not always, but sometimes you will just get this, nothing else, whole day. And this is me fighting this guy is gonna be pretty much the whole match, like for the next 3 minutes. And my goal was to see how much can I push this plane, especially at in this match, because in this match I think I had barely any upgrades. The only reason why I turned back into him immediately is because I know he's not gonna. He was focusing on the other guy. Now I see the Tempest is below me. I'm gonna try to dive on him because he's tried to pull up, but he's already dead. Now the Spitfire is still flying away. Here he comes back. No, just a short burst. Not only a hit with probably with the machine gun, and as you saw, like I just couldn't roll away, but I was on low speed. But you get the point. The plane just does not respond fast enough for you to dodge sometime. Now we are initiating in a really slow dogfight. My goal is to slowly and under really strict control to get him in front of me. The way I do that is by using flaps and cutting throttle when I see that he's getting slow behind me. I'll see a few misses in those half head-ons, or whatever they're supposed to be called. I could have killed him here, but I failed. Doesn't matter. Now I cut the throttle because I see he's trying to get below me. Now we're going into a downward spiral, but he's trying to use his energy to get behind me. But I'm not letting him because my throttle is cut and his throttle is probably still up, so that's why he's failing at making me overshoot. I see the other guy is also coming in, so I have to do this a bit faster. Now I know that I'm completely out of energy, so I have to kick the throttle again. There we go. At this point, my whole team is dead, so the best I can do is take a few of them with me. A short head-on just below him, so he cannot aim, he's dead. And that's pretty much the whole match. The only thing I could have done better is to let the Spitfire dive away when I was in a downward spiral, and then wait for them to come to me, but I really had no patience for that. I really just wanted to test the maneuverability and the way this plane performs against Spitfires and other planes. But I'm pretty sure now that this plane in a 1 versus 1 situation can handle almost anything. Because as you will see at this very end of this match, I almost got both of them, but I simply didn't have enough performance to keep up at this low altitude against both of them. Alright, let's see how this ends and then switch to the next match. Okay, so as I said, this match was against the Russians. And against Russians you really need to be careful because they have a lot of energy retention, especially the Yak-3s and the Yak-9s. And the LA-7s and LA-9s have a turn fight capabilities at low altitude, but they are bad at vertical maneuvers because most of the LA series have really heavy nose, especially the LA-9. And the reason why we are this high is because there is always that one guy that either AFK climbs or intentionally climbs to space, and we didn't want to let them do that. So we are at 6,000 and almost 7,000, and we see a Yak 3P just flying around, so we try to catch him off guard. A few sparks on him with the 30s, of course, because even though I have the air target belt, it still sparks like crazy. Now I'm cutting the throttle, not letting myself overshoot. Few more sparks, and finally. At this point I decide to dive with my wingman because a lot of people on our team are already dead, which means there's at least more than half of their team is down low. So we're dropping down to 3,000 meters and hoping that we're gonna spot something. So I'm cutting the throttle and just slowly diving and doing like a spiral, waiting for the spotting system to do its work. I see the L10 is And there we go, the LA9. I'm not sure if he even sees me, but I'm still gonna fire a few shots and just break away. And he doesn't seem to be responding, so turn back right into him. I'm slowly catching him. He started to turn back into us a bit too late. That means that I can just go on his tail again. Now he's trying to do the energy trap stall, but that doesn't work on the LA9, especially if he's like medium to low on speed. I'm just hitting the flaps, few shots into him, and that's it. We'll pull straight back down. At this point, I'm pretty sure the rest of the team is down on the deck. I see year 2 behind me, so I asked my wingman to deal with that thing while I try to save the TA-152. The reason I asked him to do so is because Russian bombers do tend to fly away into oblivion or just fly away in some random direction and never come back until the end of the match, and I didn't want that to happen. There he goes. And now I'm just assessing the situation, waiting for someone to pop up on my radar. I see the LA9 is fighting the TA. I can't even see if that's a Focke-Wulf. And he's dead. There should be more guys on the deck now. And as you see, I'm not diving. I'm not giving up my altitude just to spot people, because I know the spotting system does work when you have an ally near you. But I see the spotting system is also pretty sketchy when you're fighting 1 versus 1 someone, and especially if he's straight below you. It can really fuck you up, even though you're only like half a kilometer away from him. You just cannot spot him. But you can spot people from 10 kilometers, so that's really some weird logic right there. Okay, so looping back around on the LA7. Now I'm just trying to catch him before he kills the TA. Not the TA, the Focke-Wulf. I don't know why I keep calling that TA. Now the wingman shot down the Yak, the year 2. Now we're slowly catching the LA7. I'm not sure if the LA7 is faster than the LA9 in low altitude in a straight line, but it could be. I'm not sure. Now I see my wingman has spotted the Yak 3, so I have to deal with this guy as fast as possible. And in the meantime, you can see in the background there's a Focke-Wulf on our runway that was on the runway the whole freaking game. But whatever, not like he was needed. Okay, the Focke-Wulf is still alive, so we're trying to get the LA7. And once a few bursts into him, all sparks. Phenomenal, turn back in. Only 30 mils left. Looping back onto him. Luckily for me, he didn't have enough energy to do an actual turn fight, so I'm still on his tail. And there we go, he's dead. Okay, the Yak 3 is incoming, or actually he is nearby, and he's gonna be the last target. And he made one huge mistake at the end of the match, and not at the end, at this point, and that is that he didn't want to turn fight me. I'm not sure why, but he just flown away. Okay, he killed my wingman, and now he's going for the Focke-Wulf. I'm just gonna try to get a shot on him while he does the pass. The Focke-Wulf is dead as well. He does a nice inside turn to dodge me, and now he's just flying away. I don't know why didn't he turn back in. He killed me in like less than 30 seconds. But he decides to fly away. I know that I cannot catch him in a straight line, especially not now. So I'm just gonna do like a shallow climb and wait for him to come back. And the reason why I'm climbing is simply because no matter how big of a gap distance he makes in a straight line, he will always have to turn around and zoom up, and at that point he is helpless. That's a strategy I learned in jets, especially like in a MiG versus Sabre situation, because you know you cannot catch him in a straight line, so you climb. and you always do that, and he will always be in an inferior situation, no matter what he does. Almost get shot down by AAA, which is always a phenomenal feeling. And I'm actually surprised how much they buffed the AAA, especially on runways, that if you want to attack someone, strafe someone on runway, be ready to be one-shotted or damaged, at least damaged a couple of times, for sure. And I actually don't mind that, but at the same time it seems a bit realistic on how they can shoot you down from like 4,000 meters with a single lock-on. Oh yes, also regarding the engine overheat, you should never be worried about that. No matter how much you overheat it, you can always just cut the throttle and cool it off in less than like 15 to 20 seconds stop. So you can always push this plane to the limit. And regarding the fuel, you don't bring 20 minutes of fuel. It's way too little, because the weapon on this plane really wastes a lot of fuel. So you have to bring 30 at least, even on stock aircraft. Okay, as you see, he's still running. He's at like 5,000 5 kilometers away from me. He's still running. For a second I thought he was gonna try to drag me to his runway, but he did not do that for some reason. And he's finally turning in now. Now he's slowly coming back. I know that I have enough speed to pull him up if needed, and I know he does not have enough speed, because he's now climbing and coming towards me. So I'm gonna pull him right into a stall. This could have ended up badly, because I sometimes forget how much energy retention that piece of shit has. But he lost all energy already, so I'm cutting the throttle, flaps, straight on above him. At this point I have no cannon rounds, and this can be really annoying, especially because those 13 millimeters on the Germans are most of the time really useless. But I was really lucky this game, and I clipped his whole wing in like, what, 1 or 2 bullets. I'm pretty sure he was damaged or something, because that was quite not an everyday thing. Anyway, that's the end of the match. My overall conclusion about this plane is that I would rather fly a Focke-Wulf D9 than this plane, simply because at the same battle rating you get 2 really reliable guns with a lot of ammo, and you get a plane which has a lot better top speed and control at high speed. And that's the only reason why I would rather prefer a Focke-Wulf, even though I'm a big fan of early 109s. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Bye.